Okay. I wanted to give you a few tips about English. I often get these kind of messages from people who are not native English speakers, and I'm not here to shame anyone or to call people names or anything like that. And obviously, I won't name anyone or show users or the faces or anything. Um, and of course, each one, you're all free to do whatever you want with your time, right? But I get a lot of messages like this from people who want to learn several languages, but their English is really not good. And when I mean not good, I mean it's bad. Like, this is bad English. And I don't know where this person is from. Honestly, I don't care. It's it's bad English. And my advice is to, yeah, if you want to learn multiple languages, go do it. But I think getting good at English should be a priority, simply because English is the most important language globally. I'm not saying if that's right or wrong or anything like that. I'm not making any value judgments on which language is more valuable or anything. No, it's just it is what it is. It's more useful because the internet is mostly in English, and um, it will also be more useful for you in your life to get good at English. It's much better for you, uh, professionally, especially, or if you want to have a business online or anything like that. You do much better expressing yourself in English well, spoken and written, than being able to semi conversationally speak in a bunch of languages. Yeah, if you know a bunch of sentences in a bunch of languages, you can say your name and introduce yourself, things like that. That's fun. But if your English is really bad, you should focus on fixing that first, because yeah, it's going to be much more useful for you. Unless you live in a country and you really need to learn the language of that specific country. If you move to Germany, then learn German, obviously. Or if you move to Mexico, learn Spanish. And yeah, okay. But in general, English on the internet, uh, in the internet, I still make mistakes with the preposition sometimes. Um, no one's perfect, but learning to express yourself in English well is going to give you a big return on investment. So it's definitely worth it. And I'm going to show you how to write better in English. It's not that, like, if you write like this in English, uh, in this day and age, there are so many tools to write better that you can. If you write like this, there's another problem there as well. You just like type without even looking at what you're typing and without even thinking. Like, first thoughts that come to mind, you just like rush to the keyboard and type it all. Don't even check what you just typed, and you press the button, and that's it. Take your time, look at the text before you press the button. Use spell check. Also, I recommend using DeepL. And not that if your English is really really bad, type in your native language and use the translator and translate it into English and use the translation and write online like that. That will yeah, that's a good way to learn good English, because those sentences will be correct grammatically, spelling will be good, they use the right vocabulary and so on. DeepL is very good for that. So if your native language is whatever Spanish and you write really badly in English, write in Spanish and use the translation. Yeah, and eventually you learn if you do that. But if you want to type in English already, use the writing feature of DeepL. So you get your text, use punctuation. Yeah, like, I'm learning French language since, so uh, w- okay. I'm not an expert in writing. I didn't go to writer school. I don't write novels. So anything like that. I do have, believe it or not, I do have best-selling authors in my locally, not like internationally, but in my family, but not me. So yeah, I'm not a very good writer in general. I did learn some copywriting, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a good writer, but the basics, the basic things you want to do, like the most basic stuff, it's punctuation. Use like, I'm learning French language since 8 months, but I haven't found that kind of level I'm studying French language. Like, separate the sentences. Also, um, full stop, institute, spell check. Check your own. I mean, this is good too, so that you can check first. Like, first of all, this looks really weird to call someone that. Like, I think I guess that's direct translation from your native language, and you say it like that. In English, it sounds very weird. Like, sir, someone's name, it's very weird. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I guess it sounds good in your language. It's different. It's different. Spanish and Basque and English are already different. So German as well. And all. So yeah, that's. But just look at how native speakers do it and do it the same way. Yeah, don't call me sir. That sounds. They already call me señor in the supermarket these days, and I always tell them all, I'm not that old. Don't call me that. In English, it sounds even like we're in the military or something. Uh, that would be enough. I'm learning French. French language for 8 months. Uh, yeah. So for all this kind of like since 8 months, for 8 months sounds better. I haven't found. I haven't found that kind of level. I'm. Oh, so this is another sentence. So is it that you haven't found the level you're studying in the French institute, or you haven't found kind of that level, and then continues? It's hard to. That's why punctuation is important. Yeah. Also, capitalize the eyes, otherwise it looks very weird. Yeah. But yeah, use full stop, full stop. Uh, how I learn? How can I learn and speak? Basically, use DeepL and then write your thing here. Notice what it corrected so you can learn from your mistakes, and copy and paste this for the comments, and you'll write way better. This is much easier to understand. You can, I think you can do this for German as well. It's pretty good. In fact, I might do it for German for myself because I still struggle with the cases. Another cases, the gender of the words, like the does. But that's anyway. For English, yeah, like take your time, use punctuation, separate sentences. You could even, and they do this a lot in Twitter and also in sales emails and things like that. If you write like that, it's going to be even easier to understand. But always punctuation, short sentences. The shorter the sentences are, the easier it's going to be to understand. Yeah. And this applies to when you're speaking as well. I know I'm not the most eloquent person, but believe it or not, I used to be much, much worse at speaking, not only in English, in general. I used to really struggle with public speaking in school. I used to have a really bad time. When they made us, it was really embarrassing when they um, made me speak, like I will give a presentation in front of class and stuff. These days, I don't struggle that much, but I still, uh, digress and just completely like start talking about something else. So, but that's my ADHD. But I'm not that shy anymore. But if you if you're not very good at speaking, in the sense of it's one thing, speaking fast doesn't mean speaking well. And people who and I know people who are not native English speakers who speak like this, uh, who can speak very fast, and they think they speak well because they speak fast, but um, they speak the way this guy writes. So it's full of mistakes. It's really hard to understand because it's just all in one like ball of text sentence, like and there's no like. So the my advice for speaking as well, for writing and speaking, is punctuation. So when you're writing, punctuation, short sentences, separation between sentences. So yeah, it's all clear, right? And then use this to check, like spell check, check your grammar, all that. For speaking, it's the same concept. Short sentences, pauses between sentences. So you're not talking like that the whole time because it's really hard to understand. Yeah, you a lot of people do that. So take your time, think about what you're going to write or say. Short sentences much easier to understand. Use pauses and keep and pay attention to things, to small details, because we're not so small. Like this kind of I haven't find that's bad grammar. Um, just type it and then check. Okay, yeah, this was wrong and this was corrected as well, uh, and this way, if you keep doing this, your writing will get better and your speaking will get better as well. But you have to do these things deliberately. If you just like spit things out, there's no filter, just whatever comes to mind, you just say it. It's just going to be a mess. You don't want to sound like that. Not when you write and not when you speak, right? Um, this is, I'm not, again, disclaimer one last time before I finish the video. I'm not trying to disparage anyone. I'm not trying to. This it's the truth. If it's hard to read, people are going to take you much less seriously. Reality of it is, people will perceive you. The way you look is important. The way your tone, the way you speak, all that stuff counts, and the way you type counts as well. Because if you write really badly, people will not take you seriously. It's it's the way the world works. So this is my advice: practice this, yeah, and yeah, work on your French as well. But if your English is not very good, work on your English. It's going to pay a lot more dividends long term, financially, professionally, online in general. It's going to be better, especially if you make content or if you yeah if you have a business or anything. The better your English is, yeah, improve your English.